Welcome to Seltzer Squad, the podcast about staying sober in the city, with your hosts, Kate Sander and Jes Valentine.
Did y'all know that you can get extra Seltzer Squad content at patreon.com/Seltzer Squad?
Yeah, Kate, they can get early access to our episodes. They can get videos of us and even bonus episodes every month.
That no one else gets.
No one else gets it, only our patrons. So this is truly a labor of love for us. So if you could help support us, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we love you, Squad.
We love you, Squad.
Sign up at patreon.com/Seltzer Squad. Jess, are you listening to any good books?
Right now, I'm actually listening to an Audible exclusive podcast.
Ooh, I'm listening to Blackout by Sarah Hepola.
Oh, I listened to that one back in the day.
I mean, I'm a huge proponent of Audible. I love listening to Quit Lit or really any book. But did you know, Squad, that you can use our discount code to get a free month of Audible? Meaning you get a free book if you sign up.
That's right. Just go to audibletrial.com/Seltzer Squad and get a free month on us. I actually just signed up myself using it. Hey, Kate.
Jessica, hello.
Hi. So we had gotten an email and, it probably was supposed to be part of like squad questions, but I felt like
It happens so much.
It happens so much, and that we could basically do like a whole episode about it. So I would love to talk about that if you're cool with it.
Tell me more.
Okay, so it says, I was recently triggered by a bridesmaid gift I received from my future sister-in-law. Instead of obtaining verbal confirmation of my agreement to be her bridesmaid, she asked me to be in her wedding with a gift in the mail containing, you guessed it, a bottle of alcohol.
Yeah.
A mini bottle of Prosecco, to be exact. I swear I smelled the alcohol through the box. Had that lovely familiar alcohol and cardboard scent that hangs heavy in a wine shop. Mini Prosecco happened to be my favorite airplane drink. I was immediately tempted to chug it instead of chucking it, but like a hot potato in my hand, I got it out of my apartment and left it in the first place I thought of, at my neighbor's doorstep. My neighbor and I are friendly and she knows I'm sober, so she understood why I did this. Opening the bottle and dumping it in the sink would have made it smell so wonderful. Scent, and putting it in the hallway trash just felt wrong for some reason. Probably because it was a gift with a personalized label on it. I felt better knowing my gift found a new home. Anyway, my future sister-in-law knows I don't drink anymore.
Weird.
I was at her house in the beginning of April and she offered me a drink, but I declined and she proceeded to drink all of her seltzer. Oh, and this girl proceeded to drink all of her seltzer. Okay.
I was like, the lady drank all the seltzer? Rude.
Yeah, what? I guess she just didn't realize how serious my decision not drinking was, hence sending me the alcohol in the mail. This experience left me spinning for days, including crying and restless sleep. I was initially angry with my future sister-in-law for forgetting I'm sober because we've known each other for 7 years. I thought she'd be more sensitive to my needs. But my resentment towards her morphed into anger towards society as a whole for normalizing giving alcohol as gifts without any consideration for the recipient's drinking status. 100%. This experience was a nasty reminder that my decision to forego alcohol is not the norm, and this fact has been easy to forget during the pandemic due to our lack of engagement with society. The majority of my sobriety has been during the pandemic, so it has for the most part remained untested. Most of my social interactions have been with my boyfriend and inner circle of friends, all of whom are extremely supportive and enthusiastic about my sobriety. In case you were wondering about the outcome of this incident, I thanked my future sister-in-law for the gift box, which contained items other than the Prosecco bottle, but as gently as I could, reminded her that I am sober, and I told her I gave the alcohol away. She didn't acknowledge or apologize for her oversight, leaving me feeling very hurt. Needless to say, I'm not exactly enthusiastic about being in her wedding. For this and other reasons I won't get into. So I ultimately declined her invitation to be a bridesmaid. I know you both have given tips on how to refuse a drink, but how do you politely address being gifted a bottle of alcohol? Have either of you had an experience similar to mine? My mom thinks I should have just thanked her for the gift and left it at that, but I think it's reasonable to remind a person who is marrying my brother that I don't drink. Thank you both very much. I look forward to your response. Why are you smiling so hard?
I'm smiling because I like can't control my facial expressions throughout the whole email of like like rolling my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had a lot of feelings.
It's such a good email that I'm like, this needs this whole episode because there's so many instances where alcohol is just assumed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would like in a hotel when there's the mini bar or a welcome bottle of champagne or whatever. There's situations like this. I'm going to be going wedding dress shopping. I know that there's going to be a champagne.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like there's so many aspects to it. It's like, yes, reminding the person and how do you like deal with something like that when you're gifted. Okay, let's just, before I even get into everything, like what's your initial reaction to like all of that?
My like initial thought, well, I always approach these things of like, what was the other person's intention? Like, did they know they were making a mistake? I try to be empathetic to the other side. But my number one thought was like, cancel fucking bridal parties. I hate this shit with a fiery passion for so many reasons. This is just one of them. But number two was, you know, this could be applied in a lot of scenarios with or without alcohol. Like, you know, why do we give cakes and like goodies and things to people? Like, we don't, if somebody's watching what they eat and then somebody makes a comment about why they're not, you know, like it can be applied to so many societal constructs of like what people should be. Like it could be applied to a gender situation. It could be applied to, you know, a person trying to get pregnant situation, like people who are single versus not single. It's like the annoying thing are society's assumptions of what we all should be doing, right? And that's number one for me. I think the thing that was most jarring is that even when she had the courage to kind of speak her feelings about, you know, by the way, I'm like so sober, that the other person didn't kind of acknowledge that and apologize feels a little harsh and cold. But I don't know. I think obviously it seems like there's more going on there.
I mean, who knows, right? But yeah, I was like, it's like, just say, oh shit, so sorry. Like it takes 2 seconds. Like it sounds like the girl was more offended.
Yes.
That the recipient was like offended or hurt. But honestly, the fact that her mom was like, you should have just said thank you.
Yes.
It's like,
also
no.
fucking annoying.
Yes. And like, I get it. Like not everyone gets where we're coming from, but this is why these conversations need to be had because it's just another example of wanting to of shaming someone who has an alcohol problem. And it's like, why is it automatic that we give fucking alcohol? Like, I understand that it's like a celebratory thing, whatever, but it's just so simple. Like, you could have just not included that.
Yep.
You could have
put that sticker on,
substituted it with
a Pellegrino.
Else.
Yeah.
Literally anything. Or it could have like even had a note, like, not sure if you're still drinking or not, but if not, like pass it. Like there's so many things that could have been done. It could have also just been like a case that she just like the girl made like 16 boxes and then just slapped labels on. Fine.
Sure.
But like it takes 2 seconds like to like just think about another person.
Yes.
And I'm sure the bride is just coming from the point where like, I'm just trying to do something nice. It's like, okay, well, like
that wasn't nice though. Yeah.
It's just like the recipient was saying, like, it's so frustrating that it's just another blatant reminder, like, oh, societies and like alcohol.
You're different.
Exactly. So how would I have dealt with it? I honestly would have dealt with it the same way she did. I would have just like, it sounds like she did everything that I would have done. Like gently been like, hey, just a reminder, like I don't drink. And it sucks that person didn't respond, like, in my opinion, the right way or like kindly or sensitively. But it sounds like she put up her boundaries, like, you know, she's like declined being in the bridal party and all that kind of stuff. But it's just weird. It's like, I've seen like wedding things that are like, take a shot and your seat. And it's like a shot of booze, like when you're going to a wedding. And it's just like little things like that. It's like, why is this just like the automatic or the, I don't know what the word is, like the normal. And so, for example, in a week or two, I'm supposed to go try on wedding dresses, right? And it says like in the thing, like, oh, like champagne and stuff. It's like, And I was like, oh, maybe I should shoot them an email and be like, hey, like, can you have non-alcoholic champagne? And then I was like, oh, no, don't do that, because it's like,
You don't want to be high maintenance.
yeah, but it's like, but there should be a non-alcoholic. I'm sure that they have seltzer or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But you know what I mean? Like, I want a fancy experience too. What? So do I have to bring my own non-alcoholic champagne? Because I mean, I can do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's just, it bothers me that it's not just assumed that there would also be an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic option. Like, it just, I don't understand. I mean, I get why bridal shops do it. They want to get you drunk so that you'll make a fucking purchase. But like, it's like, but just because I don't partake doesn't mean I don't want to like feel fancy and have a nice experience and feel appreciated as well.
Yeah, and celebratory.
Yeah. And is that like wrong of me? Like, if I was to send
I don't think so.
a message like, please don't offer me alcohol if you have, like, I don't know.
I think it's all about the approach. If you're going to come at them and be like, why don't you offer a non-alcoholic approach? It's like, obviously you're coming at them with a
Like a Karen.
like from some kind of way. But if you're just like, hey, my appointment is on blah, blah, blah day. I actually don't drink. If you guys had some sparkling water, that would be great. Like,
Yeah,
you know, please don't bring, you know, no champagne needed. I think it's just how personally I attach the gift, right, to the meaning of, like, I've had vendors send, you know, logoed bottles of wine, and I know that they don't mean anything. I'm just like a name on a list. Of course, I'm annoyed that like they chose wine as the gift to send out, but I'm also like, don't feel like personal shots fired that they were like trying to tempt me or trigger me. You know, I don't think that was the intention behind it. And oftentimes, you know, I guess the thing that's still most surprising to me is that they weren't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I think anytime I've been like, I actually don't drink, like, no thanks. You know, they were, my office is out of a WeWork space, and they came around for like Cinco de Mayo, and they come around with like little drinks. They came around with Jello shots the other day. And I was like, no, thank you. You know, like, I'm not offended that they like, I'm offended overall, yes, of like that this is a thing that like alcohol makes its rounds, but I don't feel personally like affected by it. I'm, you know, but they're always like so apologetic when I'm like, no thanks, I actually don't drink. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know. Jess, what's our number one piece of advice when people are getting sober?
Therapy.
So much therapy that I'm going to school to be a giver of therapy.
This is true.
BetterHelp reached out to partner with us at the Seltzer Squad to offer 10% off a monthly membership to BetterHelp.com.
What is BetterHelp.com?
BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that is for individuals, for couples. You take a short quiz, you get matched up with a mental health professional, and you, through the app, are able to video, or you can just message back and forth with a licensed professional to give you counseling and guidance on anything and everything that you're going through.
So how do our listeners use our code?
You just go to betterhelp.com/Seltzer Squad, and you'll receive 10% off your first month.
Hey, Kate, what's another way that the squad can help support the podcast?
In addition to just listening or signing up to our Patreon, y'all can shop our online merch store, which has a variety of different sober treats, from mugs to sweatshirts to tanks and tees.
Everything.
All of our signature sayings are all over our sober merch. So visit seltzersquadshop.com and check it out.
Treat yourself to something sober while supporting the pod. I feel like, how do I explain this? Sometimes I like to like be like, no, I don't drink, because it's like, stop assuming that everyone drinks. I think that's my number one thing is, why is it always assumed that everyone drinks? Like, because the statistics of like alcoholism and problems with alcohol is staggering. So that's why it's like, you're not like offering fucking like fentanyl to people or fucking blow for people to fucking snort. So why are you offering, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's such an issue that no one wants to actually like address and just pretend like it isn't an issue. And it's just like assumed, like, I don't know.
I think
so
the thing
sometimes I like
is
being a bitch and be like, I don't drink. Just so that people feel stupid for like making assumptions.
Yes.
But I know that that's also just like my own shit sometimes.
Yes.
And
I think the thing that makes me the most mad though is if somebody gives me like a beverage, like I remember a couple times in early sobriety, somebody would like mistakenly give me like a drink and they'd be like, but you can just have one. And I'd be like, no, fucker. Like, I actually can't. I don't want one sip of this. Like, I'm not doing your fancy champagne toast to feel like I belong because it's not good for me. It's not in my best interest. I don't care if you guys expect me to do that or not. Like, I'm not. And that would make me definitely mad for sure.
Yeah. That's so fucked up. Oh.
So I think when I'm gifted it, I definitely re-gift it. But when you were reading the email, I am also guilty of still purchasing alcohol for people as gifts because sometimes I default into, if I'm going to a dinner party and I don't know what to bring, I will still get like a bottle of the wine I used to drink, which is maybe says something about me. But like I'll default and bring, you know, like I know a girlfriend of ours like drinks tequila and likes tequila, so I'll like buy her a bottle of tequila, and I'm like, am I contributing to the problem? I don't know, probably.
I don't know. I feel like if you had a friend that you like thought they had a issue with alcohol, I don't think that you'd be doing that. So I think that it just kind of like, also you are at the spot where you're comfortable with your sobriety and all that kind of shit. So that all makes sense. Again, I don't think that you would bring alcohol. Like, these are only to people that you know. Mm-hmm. Like, you would never just assume, like, say you're like meeting strangers for whatever reason. Sure. I don't think that you would naturally just bring a bottle of wine.
No.
Right. So I think that that's my biggest like thing that I get annoyed with, is that I just assume that everyone drinks. Like, when I was at this fucking hotel and like waiting for rooms and stuff, they kept being like, go to the bar. It's like, dude, stop. Like, not everyone drinks. Because it's just another way of making someone feel like an outsider, and no one likes to feel like that. And I don't need like the fact that I'm sober to be like reminded to me all the time. Yeah. I think that that's what
I'm
it is.
Aware.
You know?
Always. I'm always aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I think the other thing that it made me think about were, in my early sobriety, I had a handful of people. Like, I had one client who, you know, I had mentioned that I don't drink, or it had come up at some point in like work, and I had a client that gifted me like 3 bottles of Topo Chico instead of the champagne. And so to me, it makes the people that go the extra mile to me mean that much more. And they're more people that I think about and feel closer to, because I know that they're supporting my decisions. And friends that are like, if I had a friend that still gifted me alcohol, it would just be that much more of an indicator of how close we are not. Because it's like, you know, when I first got sober, TJ's best friend like sent me like a custom pack of Polar Seltzer, and I thought that was like, it meant so much to me, because he like went out of his way to think about and support my decision, even though like him and I aren't personally that close, but like he obviously cares about me by proxy because he's good friends with my husband. And so it's little things like that, you know, those little things to me go much farther, and it makes it kind of, I don't want to say that it cancels out those like bad situations that happen, but it just means, oh, she's not really my friend, because if she was really my friend, she wouldn't be inviting me, you know, to go out drinking or to have this drink or to gift me a bottle of Prosecco. She doesn't obviously know where I'm at. And so why am I even wasting I don't think I would be in that person's wedding. I would find a way to get out of it. If it was like, had gone that south, I would be like, I'm not investing time and money into this person's life because she doesn't obviously give a fuck about mine.
The thing that sucks though is that it's her brother.
I know, wedding. It's like an obligation, but still.
But it's not though, because she says she declined.
Yes.
And like, good for you. Now you don't have to fucking go to the bachelorette party and worry with the bridal shower and all that.
That's like a major investment.
Yeah. So back to me.
Yeah, back to you.
No, but really, like, do you think it's weird if I bring a bottle of Free with me?
No, we went out to eat the other night at this new, like, Presto's is now something else in Jersey City, and we had never gone there. So we went there, and I was like, I don't know if it's still BYOB. So I went and I got a bottle of Free, and I brought it in, and it was like on the menu, it says like a bottle. They did sell wine, but they had on the menu that they had like a surcharge for opening a bottle. Fee? Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to pay to have this bottle opened, because I'm annoyed that I had to like go source my own alcohol-free wine, and now I have to pay for them to open the bottle so I can drink it in their establishment. Like, I was very personally offended. And so when when the server came over, I was like, you know, how much is your bottle service fee? Because if it was like more than $1, I was like not going to eat there. And she was like, oh, she's like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, I don't drink. Like, I brought my own alcohol-free wine. Is it okay if I drink it in here? And she was like totally accommodating. But,
Oh, that's great.
you know, I'm not annoyed that I have to bring my own I mean, obviously I would rather go somewhere if they had alcohol-free wine on the wine list. I would seek that place out, but I don't get mad anymore about having to bring my own thing. I'm just glad that like companies like Free exist and I can buy my own alcohol-free wine and bring it and have a different experience than I would have if I was just drinking water or whatever. So
that's
I
the
don't
thing,
know.
right? Because like sometimes we do want something a little fancy.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like I'm not saying that people have to go above and beyond to accommodate me by any means,
Right.
but like the
matters.
tiniest like consideration goes such a long way. So maybe what I'll do is I'll call this place. I go on the 14th and I'll be like, hi, I have a dress fitting appointment. I am sober, so I can't have like the champagne, but do you mind if I bring my own like alcohol free? Maybe they'll even be like, oh,
We have
no,
some.
we'll get that for you. Or like, we also offer, you know, because it's just like a gentle reminder sometimes, like, hey, not everyone drinks, or like maybe some bitches are getting married because they're pregnant. Like, who knows? Like, they can't drink. So maybe I'll do that, because also I don't want to like just assume. And
I also think though that like in
something.
those situations, speaking up in a respectful way and not coming at it with anger helps people to learn. So it's like maybe they had never thought of that before. Like maybe you asking, maybe there have been 3 other people that have asked, and maybe you're the one where they're like, hey, maybe we should have something on hand. Right. So I think that, you know, I know, so TJ's really good about making sure we have like non-alcoholic stuff in the fridge at all times, like to a like obsessive amount that, you know, he even asked the guy at the liquor store, like, how come you don't carry that many alcohol-free spirits? And the guy was like, I don't know. You know, he never really had been asked that question. And he was like, well, my wife doesn't drink, but she loves, you know, these few brands. And ever since he mentioned that, the guy has been stocking that and even commented about how many people, besides my husband, obviously, buying it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like, maybe it wasn't even on his radar that he even knew this was a thing.
That's what I think it is. 100%. Sometimes it's just not. And that's why I was exactly what I was getting at. It's like, maybe if people realize, oh, maybe there's a market for this, or like,
totally.
I don't know. I just think that it's, again, like you said, it's all about people's approach and not always being personally offended. And sometimes it is going to be hurtful because we're just human beings and we know that we're different or whatever, but also sometimes people just don't think, because not everyone has drinking problems. So if we just like nicely, like politely remind them, like maybe again, it just like puts a thought into their head for the future. So
yeah. And in my personal relationships, if people aren't observant that I'm 5 years sober, if it hasn't come up, then we're not that close. And so maybe we don't need to be that close, you know, like maybe we don't need to continue to be friends. If you like now 5 years later, don't know that I don't drink alcohol and don't appreciate being gifted alcoholic beverages, maybe we don't need to be talking anymore.
For sure. This was a fun episode.
That was a fun episode.
It's like angry, but it's like, these are conversations that need to be had, because we got to remind the normies, like, hey, I like things too.
And the other thing that makes me think about is like, how can we accommodate all sorts of different people with all sorts of different like complexities and levels, and, you know, just being open to not making assumptions overall. It's important.
I know this is like different, but it's still a dietary thing. Like more and more places have vegan options now. So hopefully more and more, you know, places will also have like non-alcoholic options, because it's like, hey, like, again, hopefully people will if people start, we can't see a change if we don't like say anything.
Yeah, so, we have to be nice about it and not be dicks, but yeah.
Exactly. It's like, if an establishment realizes that more and more people are vegan or sober or whatever, then maybe it'll start to like, oh, okay, this is an option that we should add, you know? It would be like the same sort of thing for me with tattooing. If I only use like vegan ink because, well, I just would anyway, but enough people have asked me if I use vegan ink. So I make sure that everything that I use, not just ink, like everything is 100% vegan. It's just like
probably wasn't on your fucking radar before.
Right. So yeah.
Can't make assumptions.
Anyway, well, till we meet again.
Be nice to yourself.
And don't forget, hangovers suck.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Every review helps other listeners find us. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Kate Sander. For show notes and resources, check out seltzersquad.com.